Newark is situated between Nottingham and Lincoln in the East Midlands. It is a thriving market town with a steadily growing population, currently having around 30,000 residents. It boasts all the conveniences and attractions of a small city, having one of the most attractive market squares in the UK, 2 museums, a theatre, a very large 12th century parish church, and a historic castle. There is a lively cafe culture in and around the market square, and the marketplace itself is a hub for visitors and locals alike. However, until recently, there has never been a Quaker meeting house in Newark. Quakers from the Newark area had to travel over 8 miles to Brant Bruton in Lincolnshire to worship.
I used to go to Brant Bruton meeting. We had at that time an outreach group which we set up, and it was quite an active group. We had the idea of possibly holding meetings in the local towns, and then in 2012 we organised half an hour's meeting in Sleaford, and we got only people from Brant Bruton at Sleaford, so that was a limited success. And then we tried it in Newark, and we got quite a lot of people turn up.
I saw a poster advertising Silence in a Busy Day, and I'd already been attending meetings in Nottingham Quaker Meeting and was looking for something more local, so I went along to these half-hour Wednesday lunchtime meetings which were called Silence on a Busy Day. They were at various different venues, the backs of shops, meeting rooms in Methodist Church, and all dotted around. We tried lots of different venues.
So that was a success, so we decided to continue that, and we started having meetings every month at lunchtime in Newark, and that continued. And then we'd attracted like a hardcore of people that came to the meeting, and so in 2015 the Newark people, we had a discussion and we decided to start having a Sunday meeting. So eventually it got to a stage where we thought, well, where are we going with Newark Meeting? So I think it was 2016 we had a meeting, and we decided we'd like to move on to become our own local meeting.
The next step was to persuade Lincolnshire Area Meeting that it was a good idea, and that took quite a lot of negotiation, including a meeting, an area meeting at Boston, as it happened to be there. And Newark Quakers were invited to make their case and say why it was a good idea.
Quite a lot of thought that it's too much of a burden to have a meeting house, and too much money is spent on maintaining it and so forth, and the advice to use other places. And that was part of the argument at the meeting where we decided to actually sanction the money for a building.
However, on Saturday, January the 15th, 2017, Lincolnshire Area Meeting officially endorsed the establishment of a new meeting in Newark.
We looked at several premises before we settled on the one that we got, which I'm sure everybody agrees now is the right place. It fulfilled all our needs, really.
So we thought, well, that would do very nicely, and he proposed how it could be converted. So we then had the problem of raising the money to buy it, and of persuading Lincolnshire, because one or two of us had been trustees for Lincolnshire, and we knew they'd got quite a sum of investments in various ethical trusts, and persuading them to take £120,000 out of those trusts and buy a shop in Newark. And that really was living adventurously. So eventually we had a meeting, and after quite a long discussion, in the end of 2016, they approved that and agreed to buy the property on Queen's Head Court.
Andrew James, a highly experienced architect and member of our meeting, led the transformation of the building from drawing up the plans to overseeing the professional builders. He also guided a group of dedicated members from the meeting who took on the lighter tasks.
Andrew told me that he was in the process of refurbishing a shop in Newark as a Quaker centre. And it was one of those light bulb moments when I felt, this sounds like something I want to get involved in. So I said, yes, I'd like to do something. I'd like to offer my woodworking skills. So we had a few conversations about that, and eventually we settled on the handrail up the staircase from the ground floor up to the meeting room. The meeting house was mostly finished by the time I did this work, and so almost immediately after that it came into use, and I was able to come to meeting there.
Previously a dress shop, the building was redesigned and converted into a dedicated Quaker meeting house. The first floor meeting room accommodates around 20 people and is equipped with a microphone and webcam for blended meetings. Accessibility has been catered for with step-free access to the building, a stair lift from the ground floor and a disabled access toilet. On the ground floor there is a basic kitchen with tea and coffee making facilities, along with a small conservatory that serves as a social space and can also be used for exhibitions.
I think it was October, was it, 2017, that Geoffrey Durham came up from Newark and opened the meeting.
Yeah.
I think the greatest thing though was not only did we have our own place to meet, but we had also created a community. And I think the community is probably the most important thing, that people have joined us, that come along, become part of our meeting, and we're building together, making new friendships.
Well, it's very obvious from the start that whenever anybody was in the meeting house, somebody would want to come in and talk, or come in and have a look round, come in and say what's happening here, you know. So that was quite good. And then people would come in and ask, well, who are these Quakers? So it was...
The new meeting house was just on the corner, in just off the market square, and it had been a shop, so we'd got our own shop window. We put notices out about who we were and when we met, and then later on we got a website, and lots of people walking by saw it and came in and came along to the meeting or found us on the website.
It's such a different experience coming into a small building. It's not like going into a great big church or a town hall, a great big set apart building built to impress. This is different. It is small, it is local, and it's integrated into the building.
We started a blended meeting doing Zoom, and that's continued, and that's been a big success. We now have, I think last week we had 10 people online.
We rely on the Zoom meetings because we can't get to a morning meeting because it's too early for me anyway. We have some very good conversations afterwards amongst ourselves. It's quite a big group, and we're all very scattered, apart from us two.
Some of them we've only known on Zoom. We've never met in person.
We are very fortunate to have Andrew James as a member of our meeting. With his vision, energy and skill, he has transformed what was a shop into a space that is light, airy and perfectly suited to our needs. As one new member remarked, when I looked through the windows it seemed dark, but when I came in there was light.